Hi and welcome. I want to bring a word of encouragement to you today. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, verses 22 to 25, we see Jesus getting into a boat together with his disciples, and then he tells them, let's go on to the other side. And halfway through, Jesus falls asleep. And there's a huge wind that hits the waters, and the boat begins to go out of control. The disciples, whom some of them were professional fishermen, could not even control the boat. And the boat was sinking because there was water that was pouring into the boat. And so they go and wake up Jesus. And they say, Lord, we are sinking. Don't you care that about us? And Jesus then wakes up and he goes and he calms the waters. And he then turns around to them and says, why did you fear? Where's your faith? I want to really highlight on an aspect that actually I had never seen in this story. And that is the trust factor in God. We see almost two schools of reaction when we look at Jesus and the disciples. In a time like this when things are so chaotic around the world, whether it's COVID or the result of shutdown where job losses are there, companies are shutting down and, people don't know whether they're going to have jobs and there's a insecurity of the future. How do we respond? See, Jesus, right in the storm, he was asleep. I'm sure he was tired, but also I believe that there is a key component as to why he was asleep. And that is that he trusted the Father and he had entrusted himself into the care and into the security of the Father. And that made all the difference in the way he faced the storm. Whereas the disciples, whom were they trusting? In this point of time, maybe they trusted Jesus, that's why they came to him. But there was no real entrusting of themselves into his protection and care. They were learning, they were growing. And, we all are growing in our faith. But you see these two different responses. And it's almost like what I saw here was that one is the response of those who are walking in the intimacy and fellowship with the Father through their faith. And we see the other factor, those who do not have faith, those who are struggling because their security is coming from their circumstance and their situation. So what happens here is that those who are panicking, those who are in worry, those who are in anxiety, they are turning around to the one who is entrusting himself to the Father. And, if Jesus's faith in the Father and if his entrustment was not strong, guess what would have happened? He would have joined those who are in fear. And that's what I really want to highlight and bring an encouragement to you. In this season, there will be many who will shake your faith by their words, by their actions, and by the way they are responding to the current situation. And my question to you is, how would you respond? Would you respond out of the safety and the security you have entrusted yourself to the Father? Or would you get dragged into the place of fear and worry and anxiety? And I pray that you will strengthen your entrustment of yourself to the Father. Because as Jesus woke up, he flowed out of the authority he had from the Father and calmed the waters. So even in this season, don't allow those who are of fear, those who are worried, those who are anxious, to bring you down or to bring your faith down. but you stand firm and lift up their faith. You stand firm, function in the authority that God has given you, and encourage them to say, believe, for all things are possible with who believes in God. So be encouraged in this season. Be encouraged today. And would you even encourage a friend of yours who is worried and anxious? Because God is calling his sons and daughters to be truly his sons and daughters who function out of the intimacy, the trust, the entrustment of ourselves, and in faith in this season. People need to see from where your strength comes, from where your trust comes. So be the light and the salt to the earth as you stand strong in your faith and encourage those in fear and anxiety. So God bless you, and I will see you soon.